We are on day 17 of the government shutdown. We had Steve Scalise, the Republican from Louisiana, join us in the Punchbowl News townhouse yesterday for our most recent episode of Flyout Day. And the big headline for us was Good morning, I'm Anna Palmer.
And I'm Jake Sherman.
And welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It's Friday, October 17th, 2025, TGIF. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, Steve Scalise on Flyout Day. Number two, what the FEC numbers tell us about the battle for the House. And number three, going down to the Peach State, Jake, Georgia's Senate GOP primary is up for grabs. All right, everybody, let's start with the top of Punchbowl News AM. We had House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, the Republican from Louisiana, join us in the Punchbowl News townhouse yesterday for our most recent episode of Flyout Day. If you are not subscribed and watching it on YouTube, I encourage you to. But as always, it was super newsy and really interesting to get Scalise at such an inflection point. We are on day 17 of the government shutdown, no resolution in sight to this crisis. And the big headline for us was Scalise basically said Republicans won't extend Obamacare credits. That's the big ask that Democrats have.
Yes, I'll just mention very quickly at the top here, because everyone listens at the top. GW Georgetown tomorrow night. Let's go. Biggest exhibition game. Biggest exhibition game in Washington basketball history. Okay. Steve Scalise, and we say this in the newsletter, we said this to Scalise while we were on the show, while we were recording. He is, and I never thought I would say this, he is the elder statesman of Republican leadership. He was there for the Obamacare wars. He was on Energy and Commerce. Yep. He is somebody who just has a lot of history here. He is a no on extending these tax credits. There's no other way to read this. I don't know, Anna. I had Brez watch the clips here, and I don't know if he was surprised. I wouldn't say surprised is the right way to say it, but he's certainly, it's notable how anti doing these tax credits he is. And I think what Scalise is expressing is not only his personal political preference, because there's no question what his personal political preference is, but leaders don't have personal political preferences. They have to represent the conference, or in Democrats' case, the House Democratic Caucus. Scalise basically said the tax credits were created to be temporary. Let's keep them temporary. And that is notable because this is a guy who understands not only the policy, but the politics of the House Republican Conference. And again, one thing that's kind of frustrated me in the coverage, not in our coverage, but in the just general narrative is like, well, why don't you just extend these things? Well, because they don't actually want to extend these things. Like, they have taken a hostage that Republicans are not interested in rescuing here. And I think that's really important as we stretch in to days, we're in day 17 now. And on top of that, I'll kick it to you after this, Anna. These Republicans are hardening. They are hardening as we get farther into this shutdown. And Scalise talks about a lot of that in here about how, he doesn't think that the way he puts it, he says, I don't think the left or whatever he said is going to let Chuck Schumer go anytime soon. And, you and I were having some conversations with people this week who said, well, before Thanksgiving, it's got to be resolved. And, I think it will get resolved before Thanksgiving, but I don't know what will get it resolved before Thanksgiving. I just don't.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that are important here, right? I agree with you. It was, I think, really emblematic and interesting to hear him speak about just kind of the non-interest at all of even going down the pathway of how could they create a coalition in the House Republican Conference that could come together on this. He pivoted really fast also on a bunch of other ideas that Republicans have to fix healthcare. None of those are like, okay, we'll just dust it off and we're going to push this bill forward and we're ready to move here. No. So there's not like an urgency among House Republicans to try to find a solve. They feel clearly very confident still in their positioning. I do think it is important, though, like zoom out. there's often differences between what's happening with the Senate and what's happening with the House. And the action is in the Senate right now, and the House is watching it. You could see, Senate Majority Leader Thune say, "Hey, we'll give you a vote on this, and we're going to pass this, or we're going to be determinative of what's going to happen in the chamber that could get them out of this mess." Right? It depends on what Democrats want to do here, and I think the other thing that was really interesting to me that I want to talk about is he also, because politics is right now in Louisiana super interesting. Obviously, the Supreme Court just heard that Louisiana voting rights case, which, if they strike down Section 2, will be a massive reorganization of districts in the South and kind of how they're comprised. But he said he's running for his district, but he wouldn't endorse Senator Bill Cassidy. That's pretty stunning, man.
We wrote about that in Midday. I'm going to just address two things that you said here. I agree with you that if Democrats are looking for an escape hatch, they could just take a vote, right? And the vote's going to probably fail, and it will help them out. Schumer and Jeffries have basically said no to that.
For now.
And everything is for now.
Right.
I'm not saying they'll say no in perpetuity, but they've said no for now. And that would be an escape hatch, not a solution. They are looking for a solution. They are looking for a result, and that's not going to be a result. And with Scalise saying this, it will probably make it less likely that they'll take that escape hatch because they know it'll just be positioned as an escape hatch. Okay, back to Cassidy. Really interesting. First of all, Scalise said he's going to run again.
Yeah.
There's been I
think a lot of behind the scenes people have been wondering. Some of his staff has left. I mean, that's usually an indication here that, when senior staff starts to leave, that potentially the members taking a second or a hard look at whether they're going to run again.
He's almost 18 years in Congress. I think he's 17 years. He was elected, I think, in the fall of maybe it was the spring, but he was elected in 2008 when Bobby Jindal became governor of Louisiana. And yeah, I mean, he's had obviously a ton of challenges, health challenges. He was shot, a number of years ago. It took a long time to recover from that, but he says he's running again, and he was pretty adamant. And the thing that everyone says about Scalise is he loves this stuff more than anybody, and he does.
Seemed energized, man. Like I feel like some people are broken down, a little tired.
Yeah,
maybe I'm talking about myself on a Friday morning at 5 a.m.
No, but you're right. He was jazzed up. He was jazzed up. It was kind of amazing. And listen, if the stuff gives you energy, then no reason to hang it up. Well, maybe there are reasons, but he doesn't seem to have any reasons. And I will say, not endorsing Cassidy, I imagine in the Louisiana delegation, that's going to be a big, big, big problem. Scalise is the most important Louisiana Republican in Congress, the House Majority Leader, not endorsing Bill Cassidy, the
sitting senator,
who, by the way, Scalise served with in the House. And there's rumors Julia Letlow will get in that race, another House Republican from Louisiana. But there are also John Fleming, Scalise's former colleague, the predecessor, by the way, to Mike Johnson in the House of Representatives, is also running for that seat. So just a lot interesting here. Great episode. Really happy. We have a great guest next week. I don't think we're ready to announce that yet.
Not yet.
But we're very excited and love Flyout Day.
All right, Jake, let's move on to the number 2 story of the morning. Endangered incumbents in both parties posted strong third quarter fundraising numbers as they gear up for the 2026 midterms. We are just weeks away from the 1-year starting mark from Election Day, but Democrats have so far landed more well-funded than challengers. Neither party needs to flip more than a handful of seats to secure House control, and it is going to be a fight until the end.
Yeah, listen, 17 of the 25 Democratic incumbents on the NRCC's target list raised $500,000 or more in quarter 3. And 4 of those Democrats raised more than $1 million. Eugene Vindman, Derek Tran, Tom Suozzi, and Jared Golden. On the Republican side, 20 of the 30 Republican incumbents on the DCCC target list raised $500,000 or more. The $1 million men and women are Young Kim of California, Eli Crane of Arizona, Mike Lawler of New York, and Derek Van Orden of Wisconsin. That is a lot of dough for these folks. Don Davis, Susie Lee, Darren Soto, and Vicente Gonzalez were all outraised by their GOP opponents. Don Davis was just drawn out of a district.
Right.
Darren Soto is about to be potentially drawn out of a district in Florida if Republicans redistrict there, or they're going to try. Marie Gluesenkamp Perez seems like she has a more serious challenge this time around. John Braun, state senator, raised $509,000, which is a lot of money for a challenger. One other piece of news here, Anna. Greg Murphy, who there's been a huge change in North Carolina, but a lot of change in the map. Don Davis was drawn out. We'll have to see where Greg Murphy goes, where Don Davis goes. There's some thought that Don Davis will not run again. I think that's not decided yet. But North Carolina, Anna, one of those states that is just, again, I mean, North Carolina seems to have a new map every single time. So we'll have to see how this shakes out in the Tar Heel state.
All right, let's move on to the number 3 story of the morning. Georgia's GOP primary is up for grabs. There is a competitive 3-way Republican Senate primary in Georgia with no clear frontrunner, the exact scenario the GOP desperately wanted to avoid after a string of embarrassing losses in the Peach State. This is so stunning to me because they couldn't get the Governor Kemp, to run for the race. He was clearly the candidate that the NRSC wanted, and, really the Republican establishment felt like could actually beat Jon Ossoff, the most vulnerable Democrat in the Senate. And now you've got 3 Republican candidates. Trump hasn't weighed in. I mean, it is stunning to me that they're just giving Ossoff months and months of room to run here as the Republicans battle it out against themselves.
And let's be honest here. Ossoff has raised $12 million and has $21 million in the bank. I mean, that is crazy dough. It just is. And Derek Dooley, Mike Collins, and Buddy Carter have not raised that money. I mean, Dooley raised $1.9 million, Collins raised $1 million, has 2.3 on hand. Carter is self-funding. They've not gotten their primo candidate, and they are not raising the kind of money that it takes to make, as Max notes in here, to make Ossoff sweat. It's a big problem for Georgia Republicans and for John Thune.
Want to give a big shout out to the Punchbowl News community. A lot of folks joined us last night at Cocktails and Conversations, an event featuring networking, light bites, and a fireside chat about cybersecurity and AI policy. Jake, I got smarter on AI last night. We had Jeetu Patel, Cisco president and chief product officer, doing a conversation about kind of the future of AI, where we're over-indexing on it, where we aren't kind of pushing forward enough on it, the role of government, how the Trump administration is handling regulation. It was really appreciate we had a great group of people coming out, staffers and others, for that conversation. And if you are listening in South Bend, Indiana, I'm headed there Monday morning. We have an event with Representative Rudy Yackham in South Bend at 9 a.m. Would love to have you join us in person or on the live stream. You can go to our events page at punchbowl.news and sign up to watch that. We are going to be talking about the economy, investment in the state, and a lot more. Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it. If you like the Daily Punch, share it on social media. Tell your friends. It's the best way for folks to find out about us. Have a great day. Stay safe, everybody.